Hello there, my name is Qasim Malik Badri. I used to be an intern here at RITE Education. I started sometime in January in 2019, so I worked here for about 8 months. And before that I was studying economics in Turkey. I did my bachelor's in economics, and I've always had a passion for education, so that's what I'm going to be doing right now. I'm going to be studying a master's in education policy. Okay, so this part I'll be talking about my experiences at RITE Education. During my 8-month internship there, I was able to pick up on a lot of things. So first off, as I told you before, I did not have much grounding in the field of education. So I was slightly idealistic about what my aims were in education. So this sort of helped me bridge the gap between my idea and what the reality was. And so for instance, I would say I didn't know much about the complexities involved in policy implementation, the education policy implementation in the schools here in Malaysia. And I was able to also see how the implementation of 21st century teaching and learning could be applied more correctly through this company. And I think overall I would just say it was a huge learning curve, and now I'm a lot more confident in what I know, and I could delve into something more specific right now and be more productive in that field. And in this part I'll be talking about what tasks were involved in my day-to-day work here. And so the first thing I should mention is that the organization is a tight-knit organization. There's not a huge workforce, so we constantly have to do different tasks. So it's quite dynamic in that sense. So one day you might be doing a lesson plan, you're trying to create a lesson plan, and the next day you might be preparing a report, and the next week you might be doing school visits. So it's quite dynamic. You don't get bored from week to week. You're not constantly just doing the same report, or you're not constantly doing the same sort of work. And another thing I'd like to mention is that it's quite flexible. So you could do things within your own time. So you definitely need to manage your own time, and it's quite a valuable skill to be having at this day and age. And I think a main takeaway would be to expect taking in big responsibilities, even though you're an intern, but your opinions you will definitely have to share your opinions. It will be valued here, and your responsibilities will be quite big, in the sense that you might even be creating a report for a project, or you might be creating a lesson plan which kids will possibly use, or teachers will be used to teach kids. And it's quite a big responsibility. And in this part I'll be talking about some skills that I acquired so far during this 8 months, and there were simple skills and more, I'd say, advanced skills that I've acquired. So from the simpler side, I would say Microsoft Office tools, the basics: Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, and let's say Google Drive, creating Google Forms. And the more advanced skills I acquired would be data analysis and reporting, trying to create a 21st century infused lesson plan, which was a tough thing for me at first to try to think of. And apart from all these skills, you gain a lot of general knowledge about the field of education, because you're actually working directly under the managing director, and she has a lot of insight into this field. She's been in this field for so many years and has a lot of experience. So some days you'll be attending a keynote speech that she has, or you'll just have lunch with her, and you gain some valuable insight about how to manage a school, for instance. And in this part I'll just be talking about who would this internship be for. The first group would be the prospective students in the field of education, whether it's a master's degree or a bachelor's degree or higher or lower, doesn't matter, because they would definitely get some insight while working here. Secondly, any prospective teachers, education leaders, or basically anyone in the willing to work in the education sector would gain some insight here, especially because there are so many school visits, there are projects with many schools involving many schools, and also education leaders, coaching education leaders. And lastly, any education enthusiast, by working here, they would sort of find a more grounded approach to what their interests are. And thank you very much.